When it comes to photography, many people think full frame is the way to go. It offers the best image quality, abundant lens choices, and you just look more professional with a full frame camera. However, while I think full frame is excellent camera system in its own way, many people are missing out on a camera system that could be a better choice for them, especially if they travel, do street photography, or just want a lighter camera system without too much compromise. And that camera system is Micro Four Thirds. In this video, I will explain why I think Micro Four Thirds is the best travel camera system.
So I just got back from Bali, Indonesia, and I just want to appreciate how Micro Four Thirds had served me really well during the trip for my photography camera system. Well, not just this Bali trip, but also for my other previous trips as well, to United States, to New Zealand, to Iceland, to all those different countries. I always brought my Micro Four Thirds camera system, and it got me thinking, Micro Four Thirds is really underrated for travel photography. Everywhere I go, it seems that many people are carrying big giant cameras that look really intimidating, but I don't think they're taking as many pictures as me, and I don't think that they are having fun with photography. And that's why in this video, I wanna share why you should use Micro Four Thirds for travel photography. By the way, this video is not sponsored by anyone. I just happen to love Micro Four Thirds camera system so much. I am very grateful for this camera system, and I just want more people to know about Micro Four Thirds and consider them for travel photography because I think it's really beneficial. First reason, image quality. Spoiler alert, Micro Four Thirds image quality, it's not going to be the best of the best, but it's going to be more than good enough, and more than good enough is the keyword right here. I will share some sample pictures right now, so I will let the pictures speak for themselves. You can judge the image quality by looking at my sample pictures. I will share some different kinds of photography genres, travel photography categories, if you will. Some will be landscape photos, some will be street photography photographs, some are environmental portraits. Anyway, while you are enjoying the sample pictures, I just want to mention that my cameras that took these pictures, they aren't exactly new cameras. Some of them are at least 7 years old, some are even more, some are maybe 8 or 9 years old, but I think they are still very relevant today. Well, some of you might say that full frame can produce better pictures, more bokeh, more dynamic range, better low light performance, but as you can see from the sample pictures, I think they are more than good enough. Again, I want to emphasize the word more than good enough. Some of you guys might also say that phone pictures nowadays, especially from flagship smartphone, can do as well as Micro Four Thirds with their computational photography. Well, no doubt they are also great for taking pictures, but in my opinion, Micro Four Thirds can significantly produce more detail, more dynamic range, less artifacts, and also it can just give you that more organic, buttery smooth, tasty images in my opinion. I cannot really describe it, but the images taken with Micro Four Thirds I think has its own charm and mojo. Anyway, enough about image quality, and let's move on to the next reason, which is size and weight. Well, yes, you can say some cameras, for example the full frame Sony A7C, can be as small as Micro Four Thirds camera. However, the lenses are still big. Now look at Micro Four Thirds lenses. Wow, they're just so much smaller. Well, yes, we can talk about equivalency to that. The aperture won't match, the focal length won't match, it's just a crop sensor, whatever. I don't care. Now look at these tiny lenses. Oh my god, they are so cute, but they are highly usable for travel photography, regardless of their equivalent focal length or aperture, and they're just really great. I will talk more about lenses later on. Now combine 3 of these tiny lenses with a portable Micro Four Thirds camera and you can have a setup of a travel camera with 3 lenses with a total weight much less than 1 kilogram, maybe even closer to 600 or 500 grams. Now 500 grams for 1 camera and 3 lenses is not really that much, especially on my sling bag. They don't weigh that much. Look at it, it can still flap around. And inside, as I mentioned, I have 1 camera with already 1 lens attached and also 2 additional lenses. Now try to do that with 1 full frame camera and 3 full frame lenses. I wanna see you try. Now let's move on to the next point, and the next point is fun. Oh my god, where do I begin with this one? I'm always filled up with emotion whenever I'm talking about the fun of using Micro Four Thirds cameras. Micro Four Thirds is really a fun camera system. I really mean it. Photography isn't just about getting nice pictures. It is also about enjoying the process of taking pictures. It's also about getting immersed in the process of doing photography. When I'm using Micro Four Thirds camera to take pictures, I always start to notice that the cameras have like certain characters and mojo in them. I cannot really describe it to you, but maybe it's the tactility of the camera, how the button feels, how the dial feels, how the camera interacts with me as a photographer. It's always really inspiring, and that makes me enjoy coming up with compositions, trying to overcome challenges when I'm taking pictures, and just making me enjoy every step of the process of photography until I get the final results by pressing the shutter button. The point is, Micro Four Thirds is really fun and enjoyable. And in fact, it's so enjoyable to the point where it starts to become addicting. You don't want to put the camera down, you just want to take more pictures, and that is the kind of fun that I think is really important to have, especially for a travel camera. What's the point of owning the best camera in the world with the most megapixel, with the largest sensor, with the fastest autofocus and the best dynamic range, but you're not having fun with that camera? Anyway, as promised, I wanna share some of my Micro Four Thirds gear, cameras and lenses that you should check out. Again, my cameras and lenses are kind of old. I don't have the newer cameras or the newer lenses, but man, I think these older classic cameras and lenses, they have so much character, they are so fun, plus they're smaller and lighter. First, let's talk about cameras, and right here we have the Panasonic Lumix GX85, one of my favorite travel camera. So the GX85 has plenty of nice features, especially for its size and price. It has 16 megapixel Micro Four Thirds sensor, it has in-body stabilizer, important for low light photography and also for video, and then it has viewfinder right here, very important to have for travel camera as well, although it's not a must. Manual control is great with this guy, plenty of dials and buttons, making manual control much easier. And then also it has this articulating screen right here, good for street photography and also low level kind of landscape photography shots on the tripod, that kind of thing. And you should also check out a slightly newer version of this guy, which is the Panasonic Lumix GX9. Next camera over here, I have the Panasonic Lumix GX850, or also known as GF9. So this camera is not as feature packed as the GX850. It looks similar, but it doesn't have in-body stabilizer. It doesn't have viewfinder. It still has an articulating screen. It flips out like this, so you can use it for taking selfie. And manual control is not really that great with this camera, but this camera is much smaller compared to the GX85 and also lighter as well. So if you want something bare bone but still good enough for travel photography, but very light and very compact, then GX850 is the answer. Also check out the newer version of this guy, GX880 or GF10. Now let's talk about lenses, and this is the most exciting part for me. So first let's talk about general out and about lens for travel photography, and I have a few options here. First let's start with the famous kit lens, Panasonic Lumix 12 to 32mm f3.5 to f5.6. So yeah, a nice little zoom lens with a great range, and you can just basically take any kinds of pictures with this guy. It surprisingly has a good sharpness and detail recovery, and it doesn't have large aperture, but for travel photography during daylight, I think you'll be happy with this lens. If you prefer a prime lens because you want that larger aperture for either low light or to get more background blur, I have a few options as well for your general out and about lens. First is the Panasonic Leica 15mm f1.7, so general out and about kind of focal length as well. This is equivalent to about 30mm in full frame, very similar to the main smartphone camera's focal length. So yeah, really great in my opinion. The image quality is fantastic. And then we also have the smaller version, which is the Panasonic Lumix 14mm f2.5. This is a pancake lens. The aperture is not as big as f1.7, but still bigger than the usual kit lens. And also we have 20mm f1.7. So this is slightly more zoomed in if you want to do street photography, better subject isolation, more background blur, that kind of stuff. 20mm f1.7 is the way to go. Also check out some offerings from Olympus as well. Olympus 17mm f1.8 or f2.8, and also the 25mm f1.8. Now let's move on with ultra wide angle options, and this is one of my favorite. This is the Laowa 7.5mm f2. It's a manual focus only lens, but it's small and it has a large aperture. 7.5mm is quite wide enough for ultra wide angle photography. This is great for landscape and that kind of stuff. And I splurged a little bit and got this lens as well. I can recommend this. This is the Panasonic Leica 8 to 18mm f2.8 to f4. So this is a zoom lens and it's much more flexible compared to the Laowa. It also has autofocus and the image quality is fantastic. Next telephoto lens, I have the Olympus 45mm f1.8, good for portrait photography and also for distant landscape photography. You can use it for street photography as well. It has a large f1.8 aperture, great for that background blur kind of stuff. But my favorite is this guy right here. Some of you guys who already followed my channel know what this lens is. This is my favorite micro four thirds lens, and this is the Panasonic Lumix 35 to 100mm f4 to f5.6. So this is basically a 70 to 200mm lens that can fit on the palm of your hand. This is a game changer for travel photography because now you can take distant landscape pictures with great image quality with a compact lens that's just so tiny and cute. This is the spirit of micro four thirds at its best. Small, compact, lightweight, great image quality, great price. And yeah, this lens is just what micro four thirds is all about. Anyway, right now you might be a little bit confused, overwhelmed with all the lenses that I just mentioned. You don't know what to choose and you're experiencing choice paralysis. Don't worry about it, I have the answer for you. Just get this guy right here. Boom! Super zoom lens. So this guy right here is the Panasonic Lumix 14 to 140mm f3.5 to f5.6. It can cover anything from moderate wide angle all the way to telephoto with just one single lens. Great image quality, great performance. It has stabilizer as well for lower light situation and also for video. Just great all-in-one kind of lens. Also check out the Olympus version of this guy, which is the 14 to 150mm. Now that you have learned the reasons why you should use micro four thirds for travel photography, and after sharing my favorite cameras and lenses for travel photography, it's time for us to upgrade our skills to become better photographers. I don't want to just talk about gear all the time, talk about cameras and lenses all the time. Yes, they are fun, they are nice, but what's more important is for us to become better photographers, to practice more, to upgrade our skills and take better pictures. That's why I want to announce my travel photography course called Simplifying Travel Photography, effortless, no fuss, and practical travel photography guide. Learn more about the ins and outs of travel photography from my experience as an enthusiast photographer with more than 12 years of experience and after visiting more than 15 countries around the world taking countless pictures. In this course, I'm focusing on efficient and effective photography techniques that can help you to get better pictures without having to spend countless hours on location or spending thousands of dollars worth of camera gear. You can learn more about my course by visiting my website right here, garyw.website, or you can also go to the link on the description below and you can check that out. And that wraps up today's video. So that is all for today. I hope this has been inspiring, entertaining, fun, and informative as well. So please let me know on the comment down below what is your favorite travel camera and lens. If you have any question, also comment down below and I will try my best to answer them. Also, don't forget to support my channel. Please give this video a like, share this video, and subscribe to my channel down below. If you want to support my channel even further, please consider using the affiliate links on the description below or use the super thanks button to make a small donation to my channel. It will be greatly appreciated. Thank you and I will see you on the next video. Goodbye.